The trick in blocking the form is to divide the main shape into smaller shapes and paint only the top part since that's where the light from the sun hit. One of the most common art tutorial I came across when making background art is how to make an anime style tree. There are a lot of tutorials like this on YouTube, but I want to make a video that is more complete and helps you to understand the foundation of painting a tree. So yeah, before we start painting, let's try to analyze some reference images from actual anime so we can understand how they do it. Before digital art became popular, most animated films uses traditional technique in painting their background art and typically use poster color to paint the landscape including the trees. That's why some of the trees in anime look more painterly rather than realistic. This style was very prominent in almost all of the films of Studio Ghibli and other animation studios in the 90s. But even though digital art have become popular, the painterly style of trees is still used today, and it's evident in the works of Makoto Shinkai, which is the director of popular anime Your Name. But there are a lot of anime directors that uses this kind of style, so it's not just him. Anime trees have a simple structure. It is made of 3 different layers, but you can add as many layers as you want. But basically, it is composed of the base, the form, and the detail. So the base is the actual shape of the tree you want to paint using a dark color to create shadow for the leaves. Form is where you build volume to make it more three-dimensional. This is made by blocking the shape of the tree using a lighter color than the shadow underneath. Detail is where the individual leaves are added to enhance the overall appearance of the tree. So yeah, since we know the structures of the tree, let's start painting. First, I'm going to create the main shape and I'm gonna use this brush, which you can get for free on my website. I'm going to put the link in the description below so you can download it for free. So yeah, I'm going to make a quick shape right now without adding too much detail since this is going to be behind all the other layers later on. I don't need to spend so much time adding more details to this. But the important thing to note here when making the shape of the tree is to create variations on the size and the spacing of the leaves. Always add a gap to create something like a breathing room for the leaves, because if you're going to look at trees in real life, they have those gaps. So remember to add those to make it more interesting. And after making the shape, I'm going to add another layer and I'm going to clip it to the main shape, something like a clipping mask. I'm using Procreate right now, but you can also do clipping mask in Photoshop and other painting software like Krita and Clip Studio Paint. I'm going to pick a lighter color and I'm gonna start blocking the shape to create the form of the leaves. The trick in blocking the form is to divide the main shape into smaller shapes and paint only the top part since that's where the light from the sun hit. Okay, I'm quite satisfied with how the form of the leaves look now, so the next thing I will do is to use the smudge brush so I can create transition between the dark and the light color. I'm going to use it very slow and I'm gonna smudge the edges to make it more soft and to blend the shadows behind. And I suggest you also take your time until you are satisfied with the result. I think this looks nice and yeah, I'm good with this. I'm done with the first and the second layers, so the next thing to do is to add detail to the tree. The details are made of patches of individual leaves to create highlights. And I'm gonna use this custom leaf brush, and I'm also going to use a lighter color than the previous color I used. Just add a little bit of details, and as much as possible avoid filling all the shape because it will look flat if you do that. One thing to note here is that the size of the details will vary depending on the position of the trees. So this detail I'm making right now is recommended if your trees is in the mid-ground. When the tree comes closer to the foreground, the size and the amount of detail should also increase. And of course, when the tree is at the background and further away, the details are much smaller, or it can be completely removed at all, since that's how perspective works. The further away it gets, the lesser the details. So yeah, I think we're done with this, and overall I like how it looks. And now I'm going to add the trunk, and I need to place it in between the first and the second layer. But I'm going to do a little bit of adjustment here since I have a clipping mask. I should have done it earlier on, but yeah, I need to make the second layer independent and not a clipping mask. So what I'm gonna do is to duplicate this and select the pixel of the first layer. Here in Procreate, you can select the pixel of the layer by tapping the layer and choosing select. For Photoshop users, you can select the pixel of the layer by holding Ctrl and clicking the layer canvas. Once the pixel is selected, I will invert the selection by choosing invert at the bottom for Procreate or pressing Ctrl-Shift-I for Photoshop users. And then select the eraser brush and erase the inner part of the tree. And that's it. Now I'm going to delete the second layer since I already created a copy of it without the clipping mask. I'll add a new layer in between the first and the second layer to paint the tree trunk. You can create any size and shape of the trunk, but for me I'll create something small but thick. You can try to look at reference images of a trunk online to have an idea of how it looks. I'm using brown as a base color, and I'm going to extend the branches into the gap of the leaves since that's how a real tree look like. I'll add a little bit of details into the trunk by using different color and add shadow to create a sense of depth in the branches. And as you can see, making this part of the branch darker than the others give the illusion of depth, and it looks like it is at the back. So yeah, you can try doing that as well. And that's it. These are the steps on how you can create an anime style tree. Of course, there are a lot of trees with different shapes, different sizes and color. That's why you're free to experiment with that. You don't need to copy the actual shape of this tree at all. You can look at different reference images and use it as your guide. On the next part of this series, I'm going to share how to paint trees in different perspective and how to use different colors depending on time of day. So stay tuned, and hopefully I'll see you again in the next video. Also, if you like this video and would like to support me, you can check out my Patreon page where I give perks as a way to thank my supporters. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more art and animation videos. See ya. Take care.